fierce critic of the president and that policy, Senator de Lima. Welcome to the program, Senator. You heard what your colleague, Senator Cayetano, told me, that there are no extrajudicial killings and that the numbers are something that the Filipino people actually approve of.
How can anyone say that there are no extrajudicial killings? We have no more than 2,000 dead bodies, dead persons in the name of this so-called war. Many of these are summary killings or extrajudicial killings. We all heard about the official line that out of the 756 persons killed in the course of police operations allegedly resisted. I do not for a second believe that.
The president and his supporters say that there just as many people were killed under the Arroyo and Aquino administrations. Is that true?
That is not true. If Senator Cayetano refers to both the Arroyo and Aquino administration, then we're looking at a period of more than 10 years. That's 9 years of Arroyo and 6 years of Aquino. And then we have 2 months of the Duterte administration, and there are a little over 2,000 already killed in the name of this war against drugs.
Let me play you something. This is what one witness, one woman testifying before your inquiry said.
Sabi ko, kailangan mo na magbago.
I told my husband that you need to change so you can see your son grow up. And I don't want our children to find out what you do for a living.
So that is apparently the wife of a drug trafficker or a drug user or a drug peddler. The point is, there is a major drug problem in the Philippines. You admit that, right? What is the best way to end this scourge?
We just have to really intensify drive against illegal drugs with the least number of killings. Yes, there's still a lot to fix in our criminal justice system. So let's fix it. Let's fix the law enforcement. Let's make it more efficient. Let's train more law enforcers in the proper manner. Let's hire more prosecutors. Let's train more prosecutors. And let's reform the criminal justice system. There should be no shortcuts in trying to achieve law and order in our society.
Senator, how do you explain the popularity of President Duterte's crackdown on crime, especially drug crime? He has a massively high approval rating.
Of course, everybody knows how grave the drug menace is in our country. When I was still the Secretary of Justice, when we had briefings from the concerned agencies, what I remember is that 94% of our villages, of our local communities, the barangays, have been drug affected. And they're saying that even here in the National Capital Region, it's 100% drug affected. So everybody knows the extent of the drug problem in the country. And the president happens to really, he's able to resonate with our voters. No one is disputing the magnitude of the drug problem in our country. So he was able to really hit it right in the jugular. Well, and that's why it's so appealing.
You know, he's also hit you in the jugular. He is a man of very colorful language. He has told you that you should be resigning and that you should go hang yourself. And he's called you immoral and accused you of accepting kickbacks and all sorts of money from drug lords as well.
I take deep offense about those accusations hurled by no less than the highest official of the land. And you know, there's accusations about me being a drug cuddler or a cuddler of drug convicts or a protector of drug lords or even being involved in drugs is so outrageous. It's an absolute lie. I think he has actually undertaken a personal vendetta against me because he has not forgotten when I was the chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights and I led an investigation in the Davao death squad. So he has not forgotten that. I've been warned that if I proceed with the Senate inquiry, they're going to do this. They're going to destroy me. And even if this is not really good for me, this is certainly bad for the president, because I know what is the truth, and the truth is on my side.
Senator Leila de Lima, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, too.
Hugely popular on the streets with voters, but they have also brought scathing criticism from Parliament. I've been speaking to people on both sides of the debate. First, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, a fierce Duterte backer who says this violent period of law and order is a necessary phase. Senator Cayetano, welcome to the program, and thanks for joining us from Manila. As you know, your president, Duterte, is causing all sorts of shock and horror and tremors around the world with the current war on drugs. What is it that you say to the critics, including the United States, including the United Nations, who are asking the Philippines to abide by international human rights law?
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be on your show. Thank you for having me. There is a big problem in the Philippines, which is the drug situation. Families don't feel safe. We have 10 million Filipinos abroad trying to feed their families and make enough money to send their children to school. But we have 3 to 7 million Filipinos who are hooked on drugs, 3 million who are addicted to it, and something has to be done. And our president has started to do something about it. It is bearing fruit. What do we tell the critics? Please come here. Don't just read the reports, because there are people out to discredit him that are using the words extrajudicial killing, summary killing, vigilante killings very loosely. We value the sanctity of life. We are Christians, Muslims. We are very religious people. We value each and every life.
You question the idea of extrajudicial killings, but your own police force has said that in the 2 months, and it's exactly 2 months since President Duterte has taken office, 1,900 people have died, including at least 700 in police operations. Do you accept those figures?
Yes, ma'am, which conveniently the critics have not been saying, which is the same amount of people dead during the Aquino and Arroyo administration. So the cases now being reported, much of them are police operations. Some of them are between the drug lords. But the problem is the way it is being presented. No? I have here an article from one of our leading newspapers, no, that reports every Monday and Wednesday how many are dead. And they called it the kill list.
Yeah.
And they got a little bit upset of me bringing this up. But why will you call it a kill list when internationally a kill list means an assassination list?
Well, that is because people believe that vigilantes are out, that they are taking the law into their own hand. Your own president said that he had issued shoot-to-kill orders to the police when they encounter members of organized crime or suspects who violently resist arrest. And let me play for you what the head of police himself has said to those involved in this fight. Listen to what he's told the public.
You can kill them because you are the victims. Go to them, pour gasoline on their houses and burn it down. Show them your anger.
Senator, you know, go to them, pour gasoline on their houses and burn it down. Show them your anger. I mean, surely at the very least, that is incitement to violence.
The chief PNP has apologized for that throw that gasoline comment. Does the president speak differently? Does he speak in a politically incorrect way? Yes. But this is what the criminals in the Philippines understand. But is he disregarding the international norms of human rights? No. That is why Secretary de Lima and Mr. Chairman Gascon, who has been making accusations left and right, and we have been pointing out that they're making faulty generalizations. We have pointed out that every case they have stated has been investigated, has either been is in the courts or is being prosecuted.
Senator, I hear you. Obviously, you're referring to a special inquiry that's been opened by that Senator Lima, who we are going to speak to, regarding these killings, because there are many, including, as I said, the United States and the UN, who object to what is going on, despite the way you describe it. What do you think your president will say to President Obama when they meet at the G20 next week? As I said, the U.S. has asked for the Philippines to respect human rights and international law.
Well, no one can really predict what our president will say, but look what he does. Remember, ma'am, the president has admitted that there are policemen who are into drugs. He has admitted that there are rotten cops. So despite how the president is portrayed and despite how he speaks, he's a man of contradiction. He's a very peaceful man. And ma'am, may I just communicate this to our friends in Europe and the US. This is not going to be the norm. President Duterte is a reset button. It is an offensive against the drug lords. It is a clean-up process, no? And once that everything stabilizes and we can put more money on CCTVs, on drug labs, on crime labs, on paying the police more, on professionalizing all aspects of our governance, no? You will have the more European or US type, no, of law enforcement that you want. This isn't vigilante killings wherein people are being paid, ma'am. This is the drug lords cleaning up their own act so that they won't be brought to court.
You know, in some instances, young children have been killed when shots have been fired by police through their households as the police hunt down potential targets. That picture that you showed went viral. The guy is some petty drug user and, according to his wife, not a drug lord. But I want to ask you this finally. Are you sure this will work? Because, as you know, in neighboring Thailand, they tried a very similar thing back in the early 2000s. A huge crackdown and offensive against so-called drug lords, and drugs continue and the pushing continues and the trafficking continues. And as you know, in Mexico, decades of going after drug lords and kingpins, and tens of thousands have been killed, and it still carries on. So is this the right method?
Well, ma'am, in Singapore, people love the law and fear the law. That's all our president is trying to do. It's working now. Will it work? We hope so. We're praying so. We are just trying to instill in the people the love, but also the fear of the law.
Okay.
As to casualties, as I said, in a perfect world, no one should die. And as for children or for people accidentally getting shot or getting in the crossfire, this happens all around the world. They're in London, in the US. It shouldn't have happened. But if the president stops this, the killing of children, the selling of drugs of children, you know, we invite people to not listen to the critics, but come over and check it out. And thank you very much for this opportunity. God bless you.
And Aquillino administrations. Is that true?
That is not true. If Senator Cayetano refers to both the Arroyo and Aquino administration, then we're looking at a period of more than
Fierce critic of the president and that policy, Senator Leila de Lima. Welcome to the program, Senator. You heard what your colleague, Senator Cayetano, told me, that there are no extrajudicial killings and that the numbers are
6 persons killed in the course of police operations allegedly resisted. I do not for a second believe that.
The president and his supporters say that there just as many people were killed under the Arroyo, something that the Filipino people actually approve of.
How can anyone say that there are no extrajudicial killings? We have no more than 2,000 dead bodies, dead persons in the name of this so-called war. Many of these are summary killings or extrajudicial killings. We all heard about the official line that out of the 750